Blessing was the kind of girl you could walk past every day and never truly notice. She was quiet, reserved, and almost invincible in her university class. She always sat at the back, her head slightly bowed, a book open in front of her. She loved reading, not just because she enjoyed stories, but because books were safer than people. Pages never mocked her. Characters never whispered about her behind her back. Her classmates called her the quiet one. Some ignored her completely. A few thought she was proud, when in truth, she was only shy. And behind her silence was a history she never told anyone. Back in secondary school, she once wrote a small love letter to a boy she admired. But instead of kindness, she received laughter. The boy read it out loud to his friends, and for weeks she was mocked. That moment had sealed something in her heart. Since then, Blessing had promised herself never again. Never again will she let her feelings be seen. But in the same class where she was hid, there was someone who noticed her. His name was Tunde. Unlike her, Tunde was popular, cheerful, and approachable. He was the kind of guy everyone liked to sit with, the one who made jokes that lightened up the class mood, the one who remembered, but beneath his charm was a soul that paid attention to small things. The kind of person who could notice the sound of raindrops on the window, the way a stranger's eyes lit up when they were happy, or the way Blessing's lip coughed silently when she read something she loved. Tune doesn't approach her at first. He doesn't want to settle her because she always seemed to prefer a quiet corner. But he kept watching from a distance, not in a strange way, but with a gentle admiration. One rainy afternoon, when the sky was grey and almost students were running to the class with wet shoes and drenched air, Blessing entered her lecture hall, shivering from the cold. She hugged her book so closely to her chest and slipped into her usual seat. But that day, something different waited for her. On her desk lay a folded piece of paper. With cautious fingers, she opened it. And there, in neat handwritings, were the words, I hope the rain didn't make you too cold. Your smile warms more than the sun does. From someone who noticed. That was all in the notes. Blessing froze. Her heart beat faster. Her eyes scanned the room, wondering who could have left it. Everyone looked normal, scribbling in their notes, chatting, or checking their phones. No one looked suspicious. She read the note again, her lips trembling. It felt impossible. Who could have left me this note? She asked no one in particular. After years of being overlooked, someone had not only noticed her, but written to her with such kindness. But deep down inside her, fear whispered, what if this is another joke? What if history repeats itself? That night, she hid the note under her pillow, too afraid to believe it, yet too comforted to throw it away. The next morning, she came to class, her heart pounding with anticipation. Was it a one time thing? Or when she reached her desk, another word note was waiting for her. Your kindness is louder than your silence. Her breath caught. She remembered yesterday how she had shared her last biscuit with a silent, hungry looking boy outside the library. No one had seen that. No one. Well, except whoever was writing these notes. The notes kept coming every day. I saw you gave that boy your last biscuit yesterday. You have a golden heart. Another note said, even books are jealous of how much you hold them. Don't let the world's noise silence your laughter. Blessing life began to change. She walked into class differently. Her back was straighter. She began to raise her hand during lecture, her soft voice surprising the professors. One day, after Blessing answered a complex question correctly, her lecturer said, Blessing, I always knew you had it in you. Students began to notice her too. Some started asking her questions after class. Even her laughter, once rare, now rang out more. when her best friend Chiamaka teased her. But not everyone was happy. Some girls in the class began whispering her back, "Who is writing those silly notes to Blessing? Maybe it's a prank." Can you imagine? Someone wasting their time on her? Blessing heard them one day and her insecurity returned like shadows after light. That night, she sat in her room staring at the pile of notes. Should she throw them away? What if it was all a cruel trick? By the next day, she found something different on her desk. It wasn't a playful line or a compliment. It was a reassurance. Blessing, don't stop now. The world deserves to hear your laughter. Always noticing. This note fell deeper, stronger, as though the writer had sensed her doubt. She pressed it to her chest, tears in her eyes. Whoever it was, they weren't mocking her. They were lifting her. Then came to the day everything changed. She walked into the class expecting her usual note, but her desk was empty. Panic struck her. Had it ended? Had they grown tired of her already? She sat down, her hands trembling. But then under her notebook, she found not paper, but a small box. Inside it was a pen, elegant, shiny, with her name engraved on it, Blessing. And with it, one final message. No more hiding. Will you have lunch with me today? Tunde. Her heart skipped. Tunde. The cheerful popular boy everyone admired. She looked up, and there he was, standing at the door, his eyes fixed on her with the warmest smile she had ever seen. For a moment, Blessing froze. Fear whispered again, what if this is another humiliation? But then Chiamaka nudged her. Go, don't think too much about it, just go. Blessing stood, her knees weak, her heart racing. She walked towards Sunday, and he extended his hand. Shall we? He asked softly. She nodded, and that single lunch turned into many. At first, their conversations were shy, filled with pauses and nervous laughter. But soon, Blessing found herself opening up. One afternoon, she asked him, why me? Out of everyone you could notice, why me? And Tunde, without hesitation, replied, because you are the only one who doesn't pretend. From then on, they were inseparable. Tunde will wait for her after lectures. Blessing introduced him to her world of books, teaching him the joy of stories. He introduced her to football matches, dragging her into the noise of cheering crowds, where for the first time she wasn't invincible. But love stories were never without trials. One day, Blessing overheard Sunday joking with his friends. She caught only the fragments of their laughter and assumed he was mocking her. Old wounds reopened. That night, she ignored his calls and avoided him in class. Tunde realized something was wrong. Didn't chase her after with words. Instead, he wrote one final letter, longer than any note before. Blessing, the world may not have noticed you before, but I always did. I will keep noticing you, even if you don't notice me back. You are more than you believe you are. And I will choose you again and again, even if you walk past me 1,000 times. When Blessing read it, her heart broke. She realized that fear had almost cost her something precious. The next day, rain fell again, just like the day it all began. Blessing ran across the campus, searching for her. She found him standing under the oak tree by the library, his face wet with raindrops. She rushed forward, breathless, and pulled out the very first note he had written. Her voice trembled, but she said, that smile you wrote about, it belongs to you now. Tunde's eyes softened, and before she could say more, he pulled her into his arms. They stood there in the rain, holding on to each other, as if the whole world had paused to witness them. And from that day, the girl who once hid behind books and silence no longer walked with her head down, because someone had noticed her. Someone had written words that stitched her broken pieces together. And sometimes that's all it takes, a small note, a kind word, a gentle reminder that we matter. And so, the little note that began as whispers of kindness became the start of a love story, a story that proved that the smallest heart can change the course of a lifetime.